Hi, good morning. In last session, I have explained about what is a workbook object and the application object. And in this session, we are going to discuss much important topic BYVAL and by reference and error handler methods. Different types of error handler methods. First, let's go with the BYVAL and by reference in VBA. What is BYVAL and what is by reference? By reference means the address of the object is passed. By value means a copy of the address to the object is passed. And the default value in VBA is by reference. So whenever we mentioned as a by reference, the variable address will be passed, and whenever we declare as a by value, so a copy of the address to the object is passed. It is very simple. I will just show you with some examples how BYVAL and by reference will work. Let's go through the VBA Visual Basics Editor. I'm going to insert a one module here. Let's name it as a BYVAL. Sub BYVAL as my BYV as my procedure name. Now I'm going to declare dim a as one variable as integer. And initially, if you see now, we are taking a by value. Now we are declaring a by value. So initially, my a value I'm passing a 10 to the a. I just want to see the output. So I'm going to insert an immediate window. I would like to see my output in immediate window. So I'm just inserting my immediate window here where I cannot see. Just a second. Yeah. So here we go. We can see now. How to see your output in immediate window, you know, right? We always go and use the debug dot print. I want to uh, print my value a. So before printing my output, I want to, I would like to go to the another function and come back. I want to go to the another function and come back. So how we can call the function by from the procedure. So from the sub procedure is I'm just mentioning a sample of a. So this is my function name which I'm going to pass. So where we can write a function. So here you can write a function with the sample, and here I'm going to declare BYVAL. Here I'm going to declare a BYVAL a as integer. A as integer. Now here I'll just put my output debug dot print a. Now what I am doing, simple. If you observe here, I am declaring my variable a. Initially I have passed by 10 to the a. Now I am calling one function from this procedure. What is that function name called a sample, and what is the parameter I have passed? Only one parameter, which is a. Under the sample name, one parameter I have just stored. So what is that? With the same function, I have created one function with the same name, and that parameter I am declaring as a BYVAL a as my parameter will be the integer. So BYVAL a as the integer. What it will come? What it will do? Once this code is executed, it means this line is calling to the function. So once this line is executed, it will call to this function, and some calculation will, whatever you write in between this function, everything will be executed and it will call back to this line. Then output will be printed in your immediate window. So here I am going to change my a value into 3. Nothing I am doing. I just want to multiply my a value with 3 times. Now let's go and execute. What will be the output it will take? So I am going to step in my code. So here it is, why it is throwing an error, function sample BYVAL a, as an integer. By val a, as an integer. 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 compile error user defined type. Yeah. So because there is a typo issue in my code. So I'm going to execute now. Going to step into. Observe this line whenever I execute this line. So it is called to the function sample, and here my a value is a into 3. Initially my a value is how much it is 10. So the 10 value is passed here, and 10 into 3 30. When it come back here, what is the a value is? A value is a 30, but in your output, what is the output? It has printed 10. What is the output? It has printed 10. Why? Because the a value was not overwritten with this calculation. Why? Because we have used the by value here. What is the by value mean? By value means a copy of the address to the object is passed. That's it. A copy of the address will pass only, but it will not copy the variable value. Variable value means what? This is the variable. What is there in a variable? What is the value is available for this variable? It won't be passed. The original value will be remain same. What is the original value here? In this procedure, the original value of a is 10. Even though if you pass and if you do some calculations in the outside of the procedure and come back, the original value of the variable will remain same. That is the by value concept. Then by reference concept. What is the by reference? By reference, let's see with the example only what is the by reference. I'm going to copy the same code and I'll just paste it here, or I will use the same code. I don't want to copy or paste. Instead of a by value here, I'm going to give a by reference. I'm going to give a by reference now. Now let's execute the code and see the output. When we give the by value here, our output is 10. When we give the by value, our output is 10. Now let's execute and see what is the output of the by reference. I'm going to execute step into, and it is passed the same. The execution process is same, and now a value is 30. When it comes to, it came back to the original procedure, but this time your output is 30. This time your output is 30. Why? Because you are using the by reference. So address of your variable value also will be changed and overwritten with the original value. So original value won't be there. You are taking the by reference. It will take the initial value and it will do some calculations and it will pass the same value to that variable. That is the difference between a by value and by reference. You should understand the difference between both of them. So variable, if you see the definition again here, when you use the by reference, the address of the object is passed. When you use the by value, a copy of the address to the object is passed. What is the default? Default means what? For example, you haven't mentioned anything here. You haven't mentioned whether it is a by value or the by reference. So I'm just going to give like this, a as integer. That's it. I haven't mentioned whether it is a by reference, whether it is a by value, nothing. So let's execute and see the output. If it coming as a 10 means it's a by value, and if it is coming as a 30 means it's a by reference. Please remember this one, and let's see the output what it will project. What is the output? It has given 30, which means if we haven't declared anything, defaultly it is taking as a by reference. Defaultly it is taking as a by reference. This is the concept of the by value and by reference. The next topic is error handler methods. So what are the error handler types? We have it. We have mainly two types of error handlers. One is on error go to and on error resume next. What is error handler? What is error handler? Error handler is simple. As we see some of the errors in the previous sessions, which we were trying to run some code. If the object is not available, we supposed to get that subscript out of range error. Right? Sometimes object might not be available. Sometimes the reference which you have provided to your code that might not be available, or by mistakenly it got deleted. Something happened, so that time what will happen? So your code will be impacted. Your code will not execute and it will throw a runtime error. To avoid that runtime errors, so we are going to use the error handler methods. So how to use the error handler methods? In which kind of scenarios we will use the error handler methods? Let's see some examples here. I'm going to insert one more module here, and let's see first on error resume next. What is on error resume next? So let's take some example here. Sub, I'm just taking a resume next here, and I'm going to declare a three variables, dim a as integer and dim b as integer, dim c as integer. So I have declared three variables here, and I want to take some values to the variable. A equals to some 100, b equals to some 200, and c equals to a plus b. And I would like to print my output debug dot print c. It's very simple code. When I run this code, do you think will we get any error here? Do you think any error that will throw here? So nothing. So we got the output directly. So now in which scenario? Let me change to make it like we will just create some error. For example, I have declared my a variable as an integer, right? For example, integer means what? When we declare an integer, it will accept a certain limit of the value. If it is like a maximum number, your integer data type, it won't take. For example, I have a data like this. A value I have declared as an integer. I have given some big number which will not accept the integer because it's already crossed the limit of the integer. For the integer, what is the maximum value it accepts? There is some limitation like 23,000, something like 23k it might be accepted, but I have given more than the 23k number. I'm passing to the a variable which is declared as an integer. If I execute this now, what it is throwing? It is throwing a overflow error. Why overflow? It's already crossed beyond that limit. It's beyond that limit. We have given the value to that. So how to avoid this error? How to avoid this error is, for example, now if we execute this one, it is throwing an error. I am not going to change anything here. So I am just keeping above. There is a line called on error resume next. On error resume next. I kept that line in my code. So what it will do? What it will do? Whenever in whichever line we get some errors, it will ignore that error. It will ignore that line. It will ignore that line and it will pass to the next statement. That's where we use the on error resume next. On error resume next. Now, if you execute your code, it will automatically run. So there is no issues. There are no issues with my code. It is executed fine. Why? Because we kept the on error resume next. Because we are handling this error by keeping this on error statement. We are handling the error by keeping this on error resume next statement. But you have to understand here. So once you keep the on error resume next, the values will not be accurate. Means, for example, a it's supposed to take this value, but when you keep an on error resume next, means this line will not success. It will just pass that line. That's it. It means a value it will consider as a 0. In this our code, in our scenario, now a is considering as a 0, b is 200, a plus b is a 200 is your output. It is not considering this value. It is just passing that line and executing the next line. So this is the on error resume next concept. It wherever you get an error, it will skip that line and it will execute from the next statement. Then what is another type? What is another type? Another type is on error go to error handler, or go to the label name, we can call it anything, you can give it. Let's check that also, how we can use the on error go to sub resume go to same thing. I'm going to declare uh, dim a as integer, then dim b as integer, dim c as integer. Now what we will write? We'll take some a equals to something like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, some big number only I am taking, even though I have declared as an integer because I want to produce some error. I am giving some value, and again c equal to a plus b, same code I am going to take, nothing I am changing. And I want to this time I don't want to print my output. I'll just leave as it is. Now if you execute this code, same error, you will get the overflow error because user defined type. Okay, there is a typo issue here. It should be integer. So now when you run the code, it will throw overflow error because your number is crossed your limit. So now instead of using a on error resume next, we can use the on error go to. On error go to some label name. I am just giving some ERR is my name. You can give any name here. So this label name you can give your name also. It's no issues. That is just a label name. Where this is the main part. On error go to. After that you can give a label name here. So here I am giving error. I am just giving a debug.print debug dot debug dot print C. Now execute the code. I'm just removing the data from the immediate window. When I run this my code, what is the value is 0. What is the value is 0? Why it is 0? Because as soon as you whenever you get an error in your code, so it won't execute the next line like how it is executing in on error resume next. When you mention a on error go to, it won't pass that statement and execute it from the next line. Instead, it will directly go to this label name. For example, in this line you are getting an error. It will directly jump to the this error label, whatever is there under the label name. So it will execute that code. So same situation happened. Same thing happened in this situation. So here on the A part we got an error. It will directly jump to this label name. It won't take this. It won't take this part. Since that the value is become a 0 because A is considering as a 0, B is considering as a 0. So as well as this is also considering as a 0 in this case. That's the main thing you have to understand, that whenever you use the on error go to error handler, wherever you get an error, it will skip the all remaining lines. It won't execute at all. All whatever it is 10 lines of code, 20 lines of code, 2000 lines codes also, it won't execute. If you get error, directly it will go to that label name and execute it the whatever is there under the label name. That is the concept of on error go to. So how to do? There is specific errors for the each code. There are specific error numbers and descriptions and the help context and the source. Like here, different types of error that we can get to know. How we can get to know? Here debug.print take the error and double quotes, and you can give something. I would like to give like this just for the formatting. If you want to know the error description, how you get to know? You just type error dot description and just give some space. And if you want to know what is the help context, error dot help context, and put and give some space, and then you can just keep a error dot source. By giving this, what you know, you will get to know what is the description of your error, what is the help context, what is the source. Let's run this code and see what is your output. What is your output? I'll just erase this one now. So this is your output. What is the this is nothing but directly coming here till this part. This is the one. Then what is the description? What is the error description? It is a overflow error. It is the overflow error. And what is the help context that you are getting? 1000006. And what is the source? It's a VBA project only. What is this mean? What is this mean? I'm going to disable this one. I'm going to disable this one also. Yeah, I'm going to disable this and run this one. What is the error? This is the overflow error. And what is the runtime error number is 6. So here is the error number is 6 and you are getting the overflow error. This is how you can store your You can store your error information of this information you can store it in your logs while executing the job. For example, you have written some set of code and you are executing on a daily basis. Somehow it's got failed. You don't know where it is failed and why it is failed some of the times when you schedule some jobs. So in that case, you can keep this in your code and you can track the errors. What is the error, at what line you got the error, and what is the source of that error. So all the things, by keeping it this error descriptions and all, you can easily get to know. That is the concept of the error handling. That is the concept of the error handling. Now what we can do is, now you may ask that, okay, I kept the in I have some like 10,000 lines of code. I don't know if anywhere is they have used the error handler methods to ignore the error. I want to check some set of code, some pieces of code, but in case in my code, if anybody already used the error handler methods, I cannot get the error. So you may ask this question. So in that case, we have one line that it can disable your all error handlers. It will disable all your error handlers. What is that? You can, once you keep, for example, you want to know if you have a if you have a error handler in your code at the at least top at top of your code, after 10,000 lines this code is there, but it will automatically execute without throwing an error, because in your code on error go to error handler is present. So if you want to disable your error handler, how you can disable? You can use the on error go to 0. Whenever you keep this one on error go to 0, what will happen? It disables the all error handlers. On error go to 0, it disable all error handlers. For suppose I kept the on error go to error handler here, but after this line I disable that one. Whatever is enabled here, it's disabled by using the on error go to 0. When you execute this code, this time it will throw the error, because it is disabled your error handler method. It is disabled, so it won't work out when you keep the on error go to 0. Not only this one, if you kept like 10 error handler methods, everything will be disabled if you keep this on error go to 0. This is the main concept of the error handling methods. Total how many we have? At two. One is the on error resume next, which skips the line of code wherever you get the error, and it will execute from the next line. And the next one is the on error go to error handler. Wherever you get the error, it directly go to the label name instead of running the all the lines. It will skip all the lines after you get the error. These are the concept of the error handling methods. So in this video, we learned what is by value and what is the by reference, and what are the different types of error handler methods. Thank you.